Good morning, Ayla. Good morning, grade 9. I'm still waiting for Tala and Yara. I hope they come and join the class. They missed yesterday's, and even today I can't see them. So let's begin with our uh, new lesson, which is negative sentences. In this lesson, we are going to be learning about how we should avoid using double negatives in a single sentence. Now, here, as you can see, using two negative words in a sentence when one is sufficient is called a double negative. While double negative may sometimes be used in informal speech, they should not they should be avoided in informal English speech and writing. Do not use double negatives in informal writing. So anything that has double negatives in a single sentence, any sentence, is very inappropriate, is very informal. So here they have given us some of the examples of double negative and the way they have corrected them. So the way chart provides example of double negative and two ways each can be corrected. Now each sentence that has double negative can be corrected in two ways. Either we remove the first negative and let the second negative be there, or we remove the second negative and let the first negative be there, because actually a negative with negative makes things positive. Okay, as we study in maths. So if somebody says that I have not seen no whales, it means that he has seen whales. So this is how it works. Uh, just look at the table. Here we have three examples of double negatives. Starfish don't bother no one. I have not seen no whales. Tom never said anything. Now here the corrections are starfish don't bother anyone or starfish bother no one. They've corrected the next sentence in a way, I haven't seen any whales or I have seen no whales. And the third example is Tom never said anything or Tom said nothing. Now, sentences that contain more than one clause can correctly contain more than one negative word. Each clause, however, should contain only one negative word. So let's first begin how we can correct the double negatives. Now, if you see here on the screen, do not use double negatives. For example, do not, I do not know no one. I am not doing nothing. I cannot I cannot touch nobody. Or I have not seen no dolphins. Here I have just I have written not both negatives in red so that you can clearly see them. Now, in these kind of sentences where you have not and no one, not and nothing, not and nobody, or not and no dolphins, you can simply remove no one and no and nothing and nobody and no dolphins into any. Okay, so you have to replace no with any and it becomes correct, because we use any only when we ask questions or when we are using negative sentences. So since we already have not with do, not with am, not with can, and not with have, there's no need to add another no to one and to thing and to body and to dolphins. So it should be like this. These no's would be replaced by any. So I do not know anyone. I am not doing anything. I cannot see anybody. I have not seen any dolphins, or I have not been anywhere. So no will be changed into any, and any is used in questions or negative sentences only. Only. Okay. So let's move on to how we can have double negatives in sentences that have two more than one clauses. Okay, now sentences that contain more than one clause can correctly contain more than one negative word. It means that only in a simple sentence we will not have double negative. But if there is a compound sentence, we may have double negative, each in a different clause, okay, and each working separately and meaning in its own context. For example, here it is. The first example says, Reneen did not wake up in time, comma, so she won't be on the bus. Now we have one sentence with two clauses joined by the conjunction so. And in the next one, again we have two clauses joined with comma. I will separate both of the clauses using brackets so that you can clearly see them. Can you see them?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Rani did not wake up in time. This is one clause. And so she won't be on the bus. This is another clause. We have two negatives, which I have highlighted in red, which is did not and will not. In the next sentence, again, we have two clauses. In the first clause, we have do not, and the second one, we have should not. So both of these negatives are working perfectly in their own clause. All right. So we would not say that they are wrong. This way of having two negatives in one sentence is correct only if the sentence is based on two clauses, more than one clauses. Okay. So let's move on. Forming negative sentences correctly. Now, one way to form it is that we have two clauses. There are three common ways to form negative sentences using one negative word. So you will just use one. Either you use we, either you say, for example, if there's a sentence, we don't want no help from you, it would be changed in two ways. Either we keep this negative or we keep this negative. So if I'm removing this negative, which is no, I would replace it with any, as I told you before. We don't want any help from you, or we can simply say, we want no help from you. Next is using but in a negative sentence. Now, sometimes we use but as meaning of only, okay, as in the meaning of only. Like, there was only one person in the room, so I can replace it in this way. I can replace only with but. There was but one person in the room. So, using but in a negative sentence, when but means only, it usually acts as a negative. Okay, so do not use it with another negative word. For example, there wasn't but one whale in the inlet. No, the perfect way is there was, because but already is implies that there's something negative in the sentence. Okay, but here is implying on negativity, so it would be there was but one whale in the inlet, like there was only one whale in the inlet. All right, next is, 1 minute.
Take your time.
So the next way is using barely, hardly, and scarcely. Now, each of these words is negative, like I can hardly see. Now, hardly here is acts or denotes negativity again, because if I say I can hardly see, it somehow means I cannot see. Okay, it never means that I can see, it never means that something is positive. I can hardly read. So, hardly, scarcely, and barely are words that already give the notion of negativity in a sentence. Okay, they denote negativity. So they, again, we won't use them with not. For example, I cannot hardly see, no, because hardly itself is a negative word, we will not use it with not. For example, the tree was not barely visible in the dim light, no, the tree was barely visible in the dim light. We did not scarcely recognize you. We scarcely recognized you. I could not hardly stop laughing. I could hardly stop laughing. So here, these words barely, scarcely, hardly can be used alone because they already mean negative. Now here's the next page, page 524, using negatives to create understatements. Now, sometimes a writer wants to express an idea indirectly, either to minimize the importance of the idea or to draw attention to it. One such technique is called understatement. Understatement can be achieved by using a negative word and a word with a negative prefix such as un, in, im, dis, and under. Understatements are kind of opposites or antonyms that we have. For example, if something is important, the understatement would be unimportant. Okay, if something is clear, the understatement would be unclear. Okay, if there is a word estimate, the understatement would be underestimate. So there are words that have negativity by adding prefixes, negative prefixes that mean negative, okay, or the prefixes that mean no, or the opposite. For example, Keisha was hardly inexperienced at baking. The home team did not underestimate its opponent. The moon's light is not completely unromantic. Now, these examples show that writer is praising the people or things he or she is discussing. In the first example, the writer states that Keisha is actually quite experienced at baking. So he is saying that Keisha was hardly inexperienced, so she was really experienced. In the second example, the writer states that the home team understood the challenge they would face when they played the opposing team. And in the third example, the writer states that the moon's light is romantic. So because he is saying that it was not completely unromantic, he means that it was romantic. Okay. So here are understatement. This is another condition. Now some of more examples. If you choose to use understatement, be sure to use it carefully so that you do not sound critical when you wish to praise. Malia does not dislike Sarah's fruit pies and muffins. So it means she if she does not dislike, it means she likes, right?
Yes.
Now here is the exercise. It is page 525. These two exercises you're supposed to do by yourself. I'll anyhow provide you the answer key so that you can just tell your answers. But let me give you a chance to solve at least one from both exercises. At least one question. Yes. So Could you please do number one?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, please do that.
Did not and won't.
Did not and won't. Do you think that these two negatives are used correctly in this sentence or they should be corrected?
They should be corrected.
Those they should not be corrected because both of these negatives are used in different clauses in a sentence. Because Rashid, if you just look at the context, okay,
Ah,
it's
yes.
better that you read the whole thing so that you understand what do they mean exactly. Rashid did not wake up in time. If you do not wake up in time, so she will not be on the bus. Of course, if you are late, if you wake up late, you will miss the bus, or you will not be on the bus on time as well. So it is correct. However, in the
Mhm.
second one, I do not have no idea where the museum is. Now, please do this one so that you can understand it more.
Uh, do not and no.
Yeah, so how should we change it?
I don't have any idea
Excellent.
where the
So
museum
that's how, yeah. So that's how you are going to solve it. Here is the answer key. Anyway, I will just upload it on YouTube. If you want to tell your answers, you can just go to the video itself and watch it later. All right?
is. All right.
Or if you want to take a screenshot, you can do that as well. Okay, so let's move to the next slide. And here is the answer for page 526. There are actually three exercises. Okay, on
Mhm.
525 and 526. I have also mentioned the exercise, the practice number itself. And these are the answers of the practice that we did last week and
Mhm.
we studied last week from page 528 to 532. That was done previous week. It is page 532 and two exercises. So please, if you want to take a screenshot, you can take whatever. Now next is because. Okay, so we would start doing the correct usage of language from number 21 because we did till 20, from 1 to 20 we finished them. And let's start. When do we use because? Now, because, do not use because after the phrase the reason. Okay, like incorrect way would be one reason to preserve the environment is because it will benefit humans. There is no point of using because with reason. So either you just use reason with that, or you simply use because. You have to use one of them. So the preferred way is one reason to preserve the environment is that it will be benefit, it will benefit humans. So there is no point of using two words having the same meaning in a sentence. Avoid using because with reason. Being as and being that. Avoid using either of these expressions. Use because instead. That is more formal and better way. For example, being as or being that we were late, we decided to skip lunch. That's totally incorrect. That's totally informal. So the correct way is because we were late, we decided to skip lunch. Beside and besides. Now, beside without s means next to or at the side of or close to. However, besides with s means in addition to. It does not mean except, it means in addition to. For example, zebras often live beside, like next to or close to, gnus on the African plains. However, in the next example, other animals besides zebra, like in addition to zebra, can be found nearby. For example, let me use beside with s in my own sentence. In a question, let's say in a question, who is going on trip besides Tala? Like Tala is going already. So in addition to
Mhm.
Tala, who else is going? So besides is in addition to.
Mhm.
What books you have besides English? Like you already have English, what other books in addition to this you have? So this is how we use besides and besides. Now next, number 24 is bring or take. Now bring means to carry from a distant place to a nearer one. For example, bring me a spoon, or bring me a book, or bring me a glass of water. But take is to take something or to carry something from near to far. Please take this with you. Please take that away from me. So it means it's already with me. Take that away. For example, please bring your gym clothes home today so I can wash them. Carry them along. Carry them from far to near. But you can take your clean clothes back tomorrow. So you can take them away from me tomorrow. You can take them from a near place to a far place. Next is can or may. Just 1 second, Ayla. Let me use this spotlight. Okay. Next is can or may. Now, can shows if you have the ability of doing something. For example, I can write. You have the ability to write. But may we mainly use to ask for a permission. For example, I know I can do it. I have the ability to do it, but I'm asking for permission. For example, may I enter the room? I'm asking for permission. But can I enter the room shows if I have the ability to enter the room. Okay. So Helena, use can to mean have to have the ability to, and use may to mean have permission to, or to be likely to. Ability or permission or possibility. Helen can spell many difficult words. So this is her ability. Permission. The teacher said we may use dictionaries to help correct our spelling. We are allowed to. I may need to look up these words in the dictionary. It means there's a possibility that I'll have to look up these words in the dictionary. So this is different ways we can use can or may. This is the biggest problem I face every day at school because a lot of girls come to me and ask, can I go to the bathroom? Of course they can. They have the ability to walk themselves to the bathroom. But they are not asking it like a permission. They are asking me if they can do it. So the right way of asking is, may I go to the bathroom? Do you allow me? Do I have the permission to go to the bathroom? Clipped words. Now avoid using clipped or shortened words such as gym or photo. Instead use gymnasium, photograph or instead of photo. Okay. Avoid using just gym or just photo. Now next is, let me remove this here. Different from and different than. The correct way is to use different from than different than. Okay? Monday's menu is different than Tuesday's. No, it would be Monday's menu is different from Tuesday's. Doesn't and don't. Do not use don't with the third person singular subjects. Instead, use doesn't. Of course, that's totally wrong. That's like subject verb agreement. And we know this, right?
Mm.
So this
Yes.
practice does not need to be water. Obviously, we know it. We have been taking this lesson already. Then number 29 is done. Done is the past participle of the verb do. It should always take a helping verb because we know that done is the past participle. We cannot use it alone unless it has a helping verb have or has with it or had. For example, we done what we could to help. No, it would be we have done what we could to help. Due to. Now, due to means caused by and should be used only when the words caused by can be logically substituted. So try to replace due to with caused by, or caused by with due to. And if it still makes sense, then it means that you have used it correctly. For example, the plant did not grow caused by lack of sunlight. And I can write it like this: the plant did not grow due to lack of sunlight. This is correct way. Sorry, this is the incorrect way. I'm sorry. The plant's stunted growth was due to lack of sunlight. Now, in the first one here, if I replace it with caused by, it doesn't make sense. Just try it. For example, the plant did not grow caused by lack of sunlight. Instead, it's better to say because of lack of sunlight. So please use due to when it really shows the cause. For example, the plant's stunted growth was due to lack of sunlight. Number 31.
Yes.
Do you understand number 30, Ayla? Or should I repeat it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. These expressions usually are interchangeable, each other or one another. At times, however, each other is more logically used in reference to only two or one another in reference to more than two. So each other, if we are using two, if we refer to two people, and one another if we refer to more than one. For example, the relay team must rely on one another's motivation to win. Since in a team we have more than two people, so we use one another. But if we are talking about just two, like a couple, a pair, we will use each other. For example, the composer and lyricist appreciated each other's skill. Okay, because there are two, composer and lyricist, so we will not use one another, we'll use each other. Now next is farther and further. Now farther is the superlative form of far. Okay, like far, farther. Sorry, this is the comparative form, and superlative will be farthest. However, further is used to show moreover. Farther in terms of distance and further in terms of quantity. For example, farther refers to a distance, and further means additional in quantity. For example, if you want, would you like to write further? Further means, would you like to write more? But farther is if something is at a distance as compared to the other place. For example, my school is farther than the office. My school is farther than the office. It means it is at a distance more than where my office is. So that's how, or where my father's office is. So that's how we use farther to denote distance and further to denote extent or degree of quantity. Our art teacher showed us how to make some objects appear farther away than others, how to show them how to make them appear at a distance. But Sharon's art skills are further developed, are more developed than mine are. Okay. Now fewer and less. We use fewer to show the quantities that we can count, like fewer resources. If we can count them, we use fewer, and if we can't count right away, we use less. For example, there are fewer apples in the basket. Like I can still count them. But if something which is uncountable, for example, uh, there was few few juice in the jug. No, I would instead say there was less juice in the jug. Okay, because I cannot count juice right away. Get, got, or gotten. Here you can see less space because you cannot count space. You cannot count space. So you see there's very less space in the room. I cannot count,
Mm-hmm.
but there are fewer people in the room. I can count them. I won't say there are less people in the room. No, I would say there are fewer people in the room which are countable. Get, got, or gotten. These forms of the verb get are acceptable in standard English, but a more specific word is preferable. It is okay if you use it in your speech, but in written or a formal writing, it's better to avoid them and replace them with a better word. For example, get a new suit, got a job, I have gotten awards. No, instead use buy. I buy a new suit, I found a job, and I have received awards instead of replacing all these words with get. For example, I gotta go. No, I have to go or I should go. I'll just finish this till 40 and I'll end the meeting because we are actually out of time now. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. Gone and went. Gone is the past participle of the verb go and is used only with the helping verb. Went is the past tense of go and is never used with the helping verb. This is tenses, okay? And we all know them,
Mm-hmm.
tenses. For example, Louis gone to the movies. No, Louis has gone to the movies. You really should have went. No, you went to the movies, not you should have went. Makes no sense. Good, lovely,
Mm-hmm.
and nice. Replace these overused words with a more specific adjective. We use a lot of good and lovely and nice. So if in your formal writing, in speaking, no one minds, but in writing, it's better to use better and strong and vivid adjectives. Okay, like lovely can be, like nice can be changed, replaced with delicious, and lovely can be replaced with marvelous, and so forth. Now, number 37, in and into. Now, both of them are prepositions, as we know, but in we use for things that are not in motions, and into for things that are in motion. For example, I am going into the room. I would not say I am. For a lot, no, I would say I'm walking into the room. It won't be I walk in the room. No, because I'm in a motion, in a state of motion, so I would use into preferably. But if there is something in a resting state, for example, the ball is in the box. It is in the box. Okay, it is in the box. It is placed in the box. It is and it is in the instead of rest. So we would use in instead of into. For into we use only for moving objects, like the dog fell into the well. Okay, now because he fell, he was in motion, so we would not say the dog fell in the well, the dog fell into the well.
Mm-hmm.
Irregardless, avoid this word in formal speech and writing. Instead, use regardless. Just, when you use just as an adverb to mean no more, then place it immediately before the word. Like, she just received one letter. No, if you want to say that she received only one letter, so you can say she received just one letter. Keep just close to the noun that you are referring to. And number 40 is kind of or sort of. Do not use these phrases in formal speech. Instead, use rather or somewhat. Here is the exercise. I'll show you exercise 21.2C and 21.2D. 2D is cancelled. So for the answers, you can just simply take the screenshot. You can save it or you can watch it later. Now I'll do the rest of it starting from 41 later in another period. Okay, we will decide
Yes.
which period it would be, probably tomorrow or maybe probably tomorrow. Okay. So thank you for
Yes.
coming, Ayla. See you tomorrow. Take care.
Thank you, Miss.
Thank you.
See you.
You're welcome. Bye.